Hello and welcome to Apple Blossom and You. I'm your host Sarah, known as Apple Blossom SF on Clerk and Ravelry.
And I'm your co-host Matt, known as Navy 1990 on Clerk and Ravelry. And welcome back.
And welcome to any new viewers. I know that we have quite a few. We're going to jump right into Around the Apple Orchard. We have a few things we want to talk about. It's been kind of a crazy week, but crazy good. First, we wanted to give a little introduction about ourselves since it's been a while since we podcasted, and I know we do have some new viewers. It just felt like the right thing to do. So why don't you go first?
Okay.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for this. I've been knitting now about 2.5 years. When Sarah was doing the podcast by herself, I always bugged her because I wanted to get on, and she said, if you want to get on, you have to learn how to knit. So she taught me, thinking I would just do it for a little while and quit.
I seriously thought he'd quit. He proved me wrong.
I proved her wrong. I enjoy it. I really do. I've heard a lot of guys in podcasts say that they do it because of the relaxation, and that is a big, big reason for me to do it. Done countless hats, probably 5 or 6 pairs of socks now, which you'll see a new sock that I'm working on later. Done a sweater, working on a new sweater, working on a stuffed animal. But before that, before I became a knitter, I was, as my screen name says, I was in the Navy for 20 years. And we were together for 11 of those, I think, 11 or 12. So now I'm out and enjoying life, being home with the family every day. And that's it. That's me.
Well, my name is Sarah, and I have been knitting for 8 or 9 years now. I can't remember. As long as we've owned our house. How long do we own our house now? The summer is, I think the summer is 8.
Yes.
He teases me because we bought our house in August, and my birthday's in August, and we closed on our house the weekend after my birthday. So he said, "Happy birthday, you got a house." So
It's just, and I say it jokingly because it seems like every major purchase we get is right around our birthday, her birthday, or our anniversary.
Which is next week. We celebrate 16 years on Thursday. So we're excited for that. I think we're going to try and sneak out for a date night. So we'll see.
Which is good because our daughters are old enough we don't have to hire a babysitter anymore. We can just leave them home.
Yeah. We have 2 daughters. They are Madison and Emma. And Madison will be 16 in October. And Emma turned 13 in April. And then, of course, we have our 9 Shih Tzu puppies. But I'll talk more about them in a minute. I also know how to spin and weave, and I crochet as well, some. I enjoy baking and dyeing yarn. Just lots of fun things.
Cake decorating.
Well, that's kind of sort of in the baking. Well, at least I see it that way. But yes, I enjoy cake decorating, and I really am falling in love with cross stitch lately too. So lots. If it's crafty and I can do it with my hands, I'm pretty good with it. Don't give me paper. I know how to sew, so I'm pretty good at sewing. I don't do good with paper, and I don't decorate very well either. So
I've tried to get her to woodwork, which is my other hobby. I've done pens and shawl pins and all of that. And I've tried to talk her into it. She won't do it. I talked Madison into doing a pen once. She loved it. But Sarah won't do it.
Not for me. I get teased a lot that I'm really good at everything I do, so there comes a point where I try not to take on new stuff because everybody expects me to be perfect at everything. And that is so not the case. I fail at everything. You'll get to see that sometimes. Things just don't work out, even for me. I'll show you a project later that will be meeting the frog pond. We both live in Eastern North Carolina. We are not originally from here. Nope. I'm originally from San Diego, and Matt is originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana. But we enjoy living in Eastern North Carolina. It's pretty rural where we live. We love it. We actually live near Camp Lejeune, which is a very large marine base, so that should tell you guys a few things too. And we live near the coast. The beach is 45 minutes from our house?
Oh, yeah.
And that's because we have to drive through town and hit stoplights. It's not like it's 45 minutes on the highway. It is literally driving through to get to the beach.
We can be on the sand within an hour. And
the bonus is also being able to go to the beach on base and not having to drive more than an hour to go to some of the other local beaches.
Yeah.
But it's good. But yes, we have 9 Shih Tzu puppies. We call them our Apple Dumpling Gang +1. They are all named after apples.
With the exception of one.
With the exception of one. Apple is our oldest. She just turned 2 this week. She celebrated her 2nd birthday. She's our black and white. Then next we got Macintosh, and he's black, and he's just turned a year in March. Then we got Jubilee, and she is a liver and white. She's a light liver color.
She's mine.
She is his. She's annoying. And she turned a year in May. And then we have, next up is Bailey. He is also a liver and white, but he's a chocolate liver and white. So he's got really dark chocolate skin. And he just turned a year at the beginning of June.
He's yours.
Most of them are mine.
Yeah.
And then we had a big gap, and we didn't get any puppies until fall last year. We didn't get any more puppies. In the fall, we added Scarlet and Pippin, who are our only full set of siblings. All but one are related somehow to each other somehow. They're not all technically related. Apple's the only one who's completely not related, but most of them are siblings, half siblings, so which is pretty nice. We got them all from the same lady, and she's wonderful. But we added Scarlet and Pippin, and Scarlet is my girl. Her name is Scarlet because she's red and white. She is a diva. Well, I don't call her a diva. She's a princess. She barks to get off the couch because she doesn't want to jump on the couch. And she insists on being with me wherever I go.
She'll climb up. She'll climb up on the couch.
Yes, she's no trouble jumping.
But she will not, absolutely refuses to
jump
off
the furniture. She will go up and down stairs, not a problem, but she will not jump off furniture. But she's just definitely the princess, and her name has several meanings. It's named after the Scarlett O'Hara apple, which, let's face it, Scarlett O'Hara was a bit of a diva princess, so she gets that name. And that also reflects her mother, because her mother's name is Molly. And Molly is the ruler of her home. And we adore Molly. Molly greets everyone.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we were very excited when we got a chance to have one of Molly's puppies, and Scarlett lives up to that. And Pippin is our brindle in white. He's a red brindle, so he's got red and black and like a marble pattern. And you can see his marble pattern really well now that I shaved him this week because it got real hot, so I had to shave them.
Yeah, and I know that hurt.
Yeah, I didn't want to shave them, but when they're walking around panting and just laying pretty much flat and not wanting to play.
To give you an idea, here in Eastern North Carolina in the summertime, just this past week we had heat and humidity up to 107 degrees.
And the heat part was up in the upper 90s.
Yeah.
So 97, 98.
Summertime around here
it's pretty hot.
It can be deadly.
It's pretty hot. So for the safety of my dogs, even though they stay in the house the majority of the time, I do shave them for their comfort, not for mine.
Yeah.
And then after that, we added Paisley and Harvey, who you met last week. Paisley is our other chocolate and white. She is Bailey's half-sister. She is also his, and I call her Paisley Pill. She does not like me. She
likes you. She just
now
she's not one of.
She used to growl at me and try to bite me every time I brushed her. So one day I gave him the comb and said, "You brush her," and she was fine. So it's mutual. I like her. She likes me, but she's not my dog.
And she's the only one not named after her.
Yeah, she's our non-Apple name. And then Harvey, who you met last week, is our golden white. And then our newest one is Blue. So we have...
And he was on last week.
He was on last week. So we have 4 that are a year and above, and we have 5 puppies that are 7 months and under. So they keep us busy.
A couple times we're going down to the breeder to see our one puppy,
and
she comes out with another one and says, "Here, look at this one," and next thing you know, we have 2.
Jubilee and Bailey were our first pair. I went to adopt Jubilee, and I said, "Oh, I would love to have a chocolate and white." And she came out with this little 4-week-old puppy who was Bailey and hands him to me, and I look at him, and I have him close, And the first thing he does is lick my face. I was done then. It was like, please.
She was done. She just looks at me, and I'm on the other couch just, all right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And then Scarlet and Pippin, we went down for Pippin. But at that point, we were considering breeding, which we have decided that is not for us. So we do not breed our dogs. They're all
pets. We have enough going on.
And she's like, "Well, we have this girl. Would you be interested in his sister?" And she brought him out, and I fell in love with her. And life is definitely not the same without Scarlet. So I'm so glad that we got Scarlet. Scarlet's my girl. And then so we adopted those 2. And then the 3rd time, we intentionally got 2 dogs. We got Harvey and Peasy together because we knew, 2 works so well.
And they're 3 days apart?
They are. They're 3 days apart.
Yeah.
So it just worked really well to have 2. They co-sleep when they're little, so that means that I don't have to get up in the middle of the night and take them out and all that kind of stuff. And then when we got Blue, we were jokingly saying, it's so funny that we just got 1. But luckily, I co-sleep Blue with Harvey. And they're brothers. They have the same dad. And they're both... Harvey's a little guy, so he's not too big and not too rough, so Blue can go in with him even though there's a couple months difference.
But Blue is a fighter, though.
He is. He's a sassy little boy. He and Bailey roughhouse. Yeah. And Bailey's our big boy. He's 15.5 pounds. So...
Yeah, and Blue is...
Like 4. Like 3.
3 or 4.
He's little.
Yeah. But he'll back down...
But he's not even 3 months old, so...
But he'll back down Bailey when they're playing around in the living room or whatever. And it's fun to watch because he's just mouthy. Yeah. He goes crazy with it.
Well, I have an apology to say. Last week I apologized. There was some confusion with our episode. YouTube is a whole new thing for me, so there was some learning curves. And the song that I picked last week, which was Laura Story's Blessings, would not play in all countries. So I had to go and first thing I did was I did it without the music and uploaded another podcast without the music. And that solved the problem temporarily. But I enjoy having a music introduction. So we found some public domain music that we both liked. And we re-edited the podcast again last week. And we uploaded it and got it. So from this point forward, we will have the same music all the time because it creates no copyright issues and is viewable in all areas. So I apologize for the episodes going up, episodes going down last week,
but
and some
thank you
fusions
to,
from...
is it Kimberly Gintar that said it? She let us know that in other countries, because of the music, they wouldn't play.
She couldn't watch it at all.
Yeah, she couldn't watch the video at all. It wouldn't even play. So she let Sarah know. And that's when we start looking for music, and she's on one side, I'm on another, trying to find music. Fortunately, she found it.
We got it worked out. So I am sorry about that. That also means that I will not be able to upload back episodes.
Right.
I saved several episodes, but I didn't save the original recordings. I had just saved the edited ones, so I can't go back at that point and change that. So unfortunately, I can't upload back episodes to YouTube. I apologize for that. So we basically get a fresh start from here on out. But we're good. And the episodes are on the blog. I did figure out how to embed them on the blog. We are not on iTunes, and at this point, we are not interested in pursuing iTunes. I don't understand how to get a feed going, and that's more hassle than I really want to work on at this moment. If things change and we do decide to go towards iTunes and work on that, we'll let you know. But for now, it is just best for us not to do iTunes.
Right. It's just it's too much of a.
It's a big time consuming.
It's very difficult for us to work on trying to figure out how to get get the YouTube version converted over to iTunes, and
I just don't
YouTube's
have the
easy.
time.
Everybody can go to YouTube.
And the cool thing is that we like with YouTube is we can watch it on our Wii, which is really, really
yes.
nice for watching podcasts on the Wii.
Last night we watched
The Bakery Bears.
The Bakery Bears on our big screen. So it was really cool. We thought, well, let's give it a try and see if we can do it. So we looked up. We can see everybody's podcasts and watch them on our TV.
If you're on YouTube.
Instead of, if they're on YouTube, we can watch them on our TV.
Which makes it nice because then we can both watch together. As usually we can't watch together because we watch on our iPads and we have the iPad minis, so it's not always conducive to watching together at the same time.
Unless we want to sit here like this watching one.
And we like to knit while we watch our podcasts, so it works quite well. Now we can watch them together and enjoy them together instead of him going, oh, have you had a chance to watch so-and-so? And I go, no, not yet. So he's, oh, I wanted to talk about it. So now we can watch it and talk about it, which is great. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into how this week has been. It's been a crazy busy week. Do you want to start with our neighbor drama?
Oh.
That happened actually right before we recorded last week. We left it off because we didn't want a negative connotation and we wanted the situation to be resolved. And it has been positively resolved.
It has been resolved. Friday night, a week ago Friday, we went to dinner at a friend's house that we haven't seen them for quite a while.
They used to live half a block from here, and then they moved to another town. So
yeah, they're now an hour away instead of
3 minutes.
300 yards out our back door. So we come home. There's a package on the step. Sarah was expecting a package, so she grabs that and looks up, and there's a note on our door. The note says it's from our neighbor's wife. And she says that I want to apologize. My husband, while he was using his riding lawnmower, clipped your car and took the side mirror off. Well, that's my car that he broke the side mirror off of. They did say they would repay, or they would pay for repairs and all of that.
Which they have. They have followed through with that.
They have. Saturday, a week ago today, he came over to the house and apologized in person, and he did reiterate, I will pay for this. It was a complete accident. I mowed too close to your car, and I clipped the mirror and broke it off. Called around to a few places, got an estimate. Neither one of us wanted to call an insurance company. There's no point in it.
It wasn't expensive.
Yeah, for the price of it, it really wasn't worth going through insurance and all
I know
that.
for us, our deductible on our homeowner's insurance, which is what it would have gone under for him since it was not a car-to-car, it was a mower-to-car. Our homeowner's insurance deductible is $1,000. So I'm assuming that theirs is probably at least that, and the repairs were way, way, way under that.
Oh, yeah.
And even if we went under car insurance, which our deductible on our car insurance is $500, so even then, it still costs way less than that. It was definitely not worth going for that. But those of you who have seen past episodes know that the situation with these neighbors has not always been the best. We've had issues with their dogs trying to attack us, and we've had issues with their dogs killing chickens when we had all our chickens. They're actually a big reason why we no longer have chickens.
Right.
We had drama with a rooster. He took the back door off his house, and it was off for months, just covered in plastic, and he kept complaining that our rooster was waking him up. which if he had a proper door, would not have happened. So it's just a lot of drama. So it was one of those things that was like, you've got to be kidding me. And he continually mows onto our property anyway. And I'm not talking like a foot or two. I'm talking 12 to 15 feet he mows into our property. We just haven't had the extra budget to put up a fence or a barrier on that side of the property. But even where Matt parks his car, he parks his car and there's a good 5 to 6 feet cushion between his car and the actual property line. We still can't figure out how he hit it with his lawnmower. We think he's got a bruised shoulder somewhere. I don't see it happening the way that he said it happened, but of course we weren't here, so we can't say that.
Right. But I went out after I got the estimates. We were going out Monday night. Sarah and Madison were going to a ladies' Bible study, and his wife just happened to be coming home, and he went out of town. So I went over and talked to her. She apologized profusely. She thanked me for getting the estimate and paid for it right there on the spot. Situation resolved. No,
now we just have to fix it.
No problems with it between us and them. Conflict resolved.
I'm very happy with that.
Then Saturday, because my car was still messed up Saturday morning, I had a men's breakfast to go to the church for men's breakfast, come out in her car, and the passenger rear tire is flat. Somewhere
not
I drove over a
car
screw.
Weekend for us.
Yeah, it was not a good car weekend. Fortunately, one gentleman at church had a plug kit to plug the tire, and another gentleman had an air compressor, so we were able to fix the tire right there on the spot. And then Sunday was busy.
Yep.
Go ahead, tell them your story from Sunday.
Well, let's say Sunday started out with just totally crazy. It was just one of those. Obviously, it was a weekend for catastrophe and disaster.
Oh, yes, it was.
And we laugh about it because the whole weekend is just funny. Now.
Yeah, looking back on it now, it's funny.
Just like, okay, it just snowballed all weekend long. And those weekends are what keep it real, people. Let's face it, we all have it.
Yeah.
So Sunday morning, we're getting out of the car for Sunday school, and I drink water in a quart-sized jar. And for whatever reason, I didn't bring a lid. So I sat my cup on the center console and get out of the car. And there was about half a quart left of water in there. Well, it knocked over and spilled all over Matt. And we have leather seats, so of course it finds anything it can to absorb, which happens to be Matt's shorts. So he had to teach Sunday school to the teens with the whole right side of him.
Stand in front of
Totally so.
Stand in front of 12 teens with a wet rear end and see how many laughs you get. Guaranteed they're going to laugh at you. But it was all in fun. I went in, I was like, you know what? My pants are wet. Here you go.
Emma had trouble that day too. Emma was spilling stuff and knocking stuff over. I ended up getting a semi-serious injury. Funny. Very, very funny. And I will say this, I was not the only person who did this. I was the only one who ended up injured. We had, at the back of the church, we planned a surprise 5-year anniversary for our pastor and his wife. And we used Father's Day as the cover to have a barbecue and surprise them. So we were setting up for the barbecue, making sure that we kept the whole thing secret. So there was a lot of going in between the things and behind the scenes work, and I was doing that. I was on a mission to go and find someone. I had a question. I needed to know directions for what I was going to do for that, what I needed to get done. And we had a glass back door, and there's a plate glass window next to it.
And it's a pretty thick window. It's probably a half-inch glass.
I haven't been out that door maybe more than 4 or 5 times, so it's not a door that I use often. I came around the corner, and I remember thinking, oh, great, the door is open. So I continued walking purposefully. I was not running, but I was on a mission, and I walked, and I ran right into that door. Nearly knocked myself.
The window.
I nearly knocked myself out. Had a big old headache and ended up with a concussion. So this week has just been dealing with recovery, resting, and dealing with splitting headaches. I ended up going to the ER, which everything checked out. I knew I was fine, but the headache and the nausea were getting worse. So I knew it was time just to go and make sure everything was okay, and of course it was. So they're like, well, we can do all these tests if you want the CAT scan and everything. And I was like, nope, it's really not necessary. And they were like, well, we can give you a prescription for medicine. I was like, nope, it's really not necessary. I think I took a couple doses of Tylenol, and that's rare for me, is I don't like to take any medicine unless I 100% absolutely have to. I prefer alternative methods, but my other method that really works well for headaches most of the time, which is lavender and peppermint essential oil that I blend in with some coconut oil, and I rub at the back of my head, around my ears, and on my temples. Wasn't as effective for a concussion, so I just kind of suffered through it most of the time. But it was definitely funny, and like I said, I was not the only person who ran into that window. Luckily, the other lady stopped like 2 inches from running into it, so I was very thankful that she didn't get hurt. But it has been funny. I have been ribbed for it all week, and I deserve it. And I was laughing. I came back up at service, and I said, oh, you never believe what I did. And I told him, and he was trying so hard not to bust out laughing in the middle of church. Luckily, it was in the song, so he could chuckle a little bit, but I know he was wanting to roll, because I was wanting to roll. Every time I thought about it for 2.5 days, I laughed hysterically, because I still can't believe I did it. It is hilarious that I did that. But, the seriousness is the concussions are not fun. But that was our crazy week, and just dealing with that and just some healing has been good. The headaches are mostly gone, and I'm feeling mostly better. But I can tell that if I do too much, I need to take a break.
Right.
That's all we have going on around the apple orchard, so we will get started.
And then Tuesday took Madison for eyeglass appointment. She's excited to come today.
This child has been climbing the wall. She's so excited to get glasses. So
only kid I've ever known to be excited to get glasses.
It works. Hopefully by the time next time we record, I'll have new glasses. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going next weekend to get my eyes checked.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump into In the Apple Basket, which is our finished projects. And I'm the only one that actually has...
Well, I have a partial one.
But that's not a finished object. That gets talked about. But that's not a full finished project. So you can't... Finished? It's not done. You can't talk about it.
Oh, that's just wrong.
The In the Apple Basket is for completely finished objects.
Well, that's
not
a completely finished sleeve.
But it's not a finished. It's not a finished sweater. It doesn't count.
Darn it! I tried. I'm really trying to get stuff done. I have 3 projects on the needles, and I'm trying to get them done. I really am.
The name of the game for me this week, and I had more time for knitting than I normally do, is because I had a concussion, so I had to sit. So easy peasy was what was for me. My first project that I did, and of course all my projects recently are from Stash. I haven't bought any new stuff in a while. I did the Petal Dishcloth by Hazel Schrock, and I did it out of my Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton. This is in the Spring Ombre colorway. And this is the first time that I have used this yarn, and let me say, this is worth the hour to an hour and 10-minute drive to Hobby Lobby to buy, because this yarn is awesome. It's affordable, and it's so, so soft. So I did that one, and out of the same skein, I was able to get 2 more Grandma's Favorites dishcloth patterns out of them. These are just the standard ones I do all the time. So I love them. And hopefully I will get a few more done. It's about time to get more dishcloths done.
I was surprised
for the
you
house.
got 3.
I was impressed that I got 3 too. It's a pretty big skein of cotton, so I was really impressed with that.
Usually a skein of cotton you buy.
I usually get 2, the 50 grams.
Yeah, they're little.
But
I
got 3, and
still had a little.
This one is over. My petal one is pretty big. So it's pretty big.
9-10 inches across.
So I'm sure if I did the Grandma's Favorite, I could have gotten 4 out of it, which is really nice. So I'm happy to have new dishcloths for the house.
Nice. You could do those for, as a wedding gift, housewarming.
I usually don't. These are going to go in our
No, but I'm
pantry.
saying you could with a skein like that, because you could do 4 for those squares, and that's a nice little gift for somebody getting into their new house. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I do that sometimes. I get bored of knitting dishcloths real easy, so I only knit a few a year. I alternate between hand knit ones and my microfiber ones that I love. I love my microfiber
love
in
those.
the summer, especially because they dry out, whereas the cotton sometimes tends to hold onto the water. And I have I'm not kidding, a stack, gotta be this big, full of dishcloths. Because I change them. Sometimes they get changed at least every day, but sometimes they get changed 2 or 3 times a day. I don't mess around with that. I make sure that they're always clean.
Right.
So that is the only finished objects we have. So
Yep.
do you want to go ahead and start with what we have in progress? And concussion is in effect. What do we call this segment?
Blooming apples.
The blooming apples.
Come on. It's all tangled. Okay, so this week, Sarah, I was. Where were we at?
We were at church for the picnic.
That's right. And I had cast on a pair of socks, and I've been doing them cuff down because that's the way I know how to do socks. And
I was a booger.
She was. I cast on, hadn't knit anything, just cast it on. I was going to sit at the banquet, the little picnic at church on Sunday, and knit on a pair of socks. She goes, "Let me see your socks, because you're going to do them a different way." I said, "No, I've already cast on. I'm ready to go. I want to do this." She goes, "No, let me see them," and pulls the needles out.
I told him I wasn't a good teacher if I didn't teach him something new.
So careful, I almost lost stitches, and I can't pick up stitches
I can. He's
for
good.
nothing. I can't.
He's
pick 'em up.
safe as long as I'm around.
I was knitting one time, and she wasn't around. I lost stitches. I stopped. I still had like 2 hours before I could come home, and I stopped, and I put it down, and I came home and pick up stitches for me. But she taught me how to start toe up.
I taught him the Turkish cast on.
Okay, I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, it is called the Turkish cast on.
And this is in the ducky colorway. I don't remember who you said it's
Unwind
from.
Yarn Company.
Unwind, that's right. Unwind Yarn Company in the ducky colorway.
It was part of the Two Crafty Girls Club, the first club they did.
And when she went through and cleared out a bunch of her stash that she knew she wasn't going to do or to use, she gave me a first shot.
I like the yarn, but it's not my colors.
It's a lot of golds and
I could have made something for a gift, and I would have been fine with that. But I figured, well, I might as well share it with the other knitter in my house, so it works.
That's me. I get the benefits. So I'm only, about 3 inches into it. This is what I worked on when we were at the emergency room Monday night, which I was surprised we weren't there very long.
No, we made it in and out in 3 hours,
Yep.
which is impressive for for any hospital today.
For any emergency room, that's a really fast. For a military emergency room, it's almost unheard of. Well, then, because I'm always called out on it, Enid, I have sleeve number 1 of my Ranger by Jared Flood. This is Plymouth Encore,
Yes.
kind of a burgundy color. Pay no attention to all the ends. Gotta get used to lining up on the camera again. And since the last time I showed it, I got smart. I put a little stitch marker in there.
Or as Dawn calls it, a dicky-doo.
Little dicky-doo right there. So I've gone from, I've almost tripled the length of this. It's getting there. It's really fast down. It goes really quick as far as working through the pattern repeats. But that's my second one. I have one more, and this one,
You're making
can't wait.
progress on.
Later we're going to get the spouse. I'm working on a Mrs. Bakery Bear. Like I showed you, I had the head, 2 ears, the nose, and an arm. I'm working on arm number 2, and I have all of 5 rows done. So.
I can't wait to start mine. I think after I frog one of my other projects and make some progress on a couple others, I'm going to start it. But I'm trying hard not to
and I think
overwhelm
later
myself.
today we're going to get the Mr. Bakery Bear pattern. So hopefully, I'm absolutely positive that pattern's written just as easy as Mrs. Bakery Bear is. It's so simple to follow. Kay, you made it really easy for us, especially for people that have never done stuffed animals before. It's nice to have a pattern where you're not trying to figure it out. It's very simple for us, even for first timers. So, good on you. So, what do you got?
Well, I have a half-finished object.
Well,
it's not a fully finished object.
Half object right here.
No, that's not even half. That's like an eighth.
Fine.
A third.
I'm pleading my case, as you can see, but she won't let me.
Well, I finished my first hand-spun sock this week. And my Sherbert sock. And I have casted on.
Let me pull that
and
out so you can start from the toe.
Well, it can't start from the toe. It won't match this sock.
Well, see?
And I know how to toe it. So I've got the cuff done on my hand spun. This is a merino silk. It's a 3-ply that I did a couple years ago. I need to actually get to spinning. I haven't touched my wheel in months. So hopefully I'll get some time to do that too. But the dogs and exercise and everything else keeps me pretty busy. So I'm hoping to this summer be able to get that. I will go ahead and I will show.
You have a lot of fiber in that closet.
I do.
A lot.
I do. I've got probably 5 pounds at least.
Oh.
And it's probably closer to 10. And we won't talk about yarn. That's your guess. We haven't actually weighed it. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and show this because this pattern was gifted to me. And I was very excited to get it started. This was supposed to be a gift for a friend who's hitting a rough patch and who I just wanted to wrap in love. And I've since then found something else for her. And this pattern is called Desert Sunset Shawl by Tina Sanders. And I ripped out my harvest because I just thought it wasn't going to work. So I'm using the Cascade 220 in the hand paints, which I love. And this is a bottom-up shawl. And it's short row shaping. I'm pretty sure that there's an error somewhere around the short row part because I'm following and doing exactly what she says, and my short rows are not coming out right. I could fix this. I don't feel like fixing it at this point. And Matt was so nice. He cast it on for me, and I can already tell
253.
I can already tell that the stitches are cast on too tight and that it's not going to block right anyway. And that's a pet peeve of mine because I like things to...
I'm known for casting on too tight.
But when it was 2 days after my concussion and I wanted to start this and he casted it on for me and I ended up being cast on for a few days. I also...
Well, you had tried
I had tried 5 times. And I had gotten it, gotten all different kinds of numbers. Finally I got to 2-3, started knitting it, was making errors because my brain, I couldn't think clearly. So it is most likely going to meet the frog pond. I may rip back and see if I can fix the short row section. I may not. This is not my favorite shape of shawl anyway. I like triangle ones. I don't mind crescent shapes, but I really do prefer to go from the top down. It's just, I can go bottom up. It's not my favorite thing to do. And this shawl has my least favorite thing to knit on the planet, bobbles. I don't like bobbles. They're not hard. I can't stand doing them. They're so slow. And I don't like that. So this will probably be meeting the frog pond. The only other project I am working on this week, I am using some universal yarn and Uptown. It's Uptown. It's in their DK.
Yeah, Uptown DK.
I have a lavender and I have a cream. I don't have the bands. Like I said, this is deep stash. This is stuff I've had for a while. I have decided to cast on Sweet William, which is one of my patterns that I did a few years ago for Dream in Color. I did this pattern once. It was a wonderful experience, but it was a tough experience.
Yeah,
so
I did all the math for it.
Well, I was in a pinch.
I'm
not great at math anyway, so he was my backup. Did I do this right?
And I remember because it was done, we were actually doing the math and calculations and all of that while we're watching Prince William get married. That I remember. I don't know why, it just sticks in my head that, Sweet William and Prince William were on the same day.
So I had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this pattern. I love it, but it was one of those that I walked away from for a while before I started another one. And I make sweaters for the babies at the church. I gift them. Every mom who we have a baby shower for at the church gets a handmade sweater. It's my contribution. So I just make up a bunch of sweaters. I never know who's going to get what. I am not in charge of giving the gifts. I just make whatever I want to make and make sure I do a good mix of boys, girls, and or neutrals. I usually don't do too many neutrals. I like to be pretty specific, but I do usually keep 4 or 5. I like to try to keep 4 or 5 neutral ones that can go either way, because if we have more boys born and the pile's running short and I haven't had time to restock it, they can pull a neutral, or vice versa. Sometimes we have more girls than boys, so that works for that.
And it tends to go in cycles.
It does. So I have started this Sweet William, and this is a bottom-up raglan, and there's a blanket that matches it too, and it's stripes. This is a quilted pattern. It's a slip stitch pattern. It looks infinitely more complicated, and it's not really showing the texture that great. But it's beautiful, and it's a quilted type pattern, and it's soft, it's not dense, and it really is easier to knit than it looks. It is not for a beginner, but if you're an adventurous beginner, you can do this. He can do this now. If you can do cables, you can definitely do this, because it's just a matter of dropping stitches and picking them back up. But they usually stay real close. It's not like they're going to run, because that's the nature of garter stitch. Garter stitch doesn't really like to run anyway. So I figured I needed to drag it out and love on my pattern a little bit. And it would be perfect to put in the baby pantry to be gifted to a mama who will enjoy it. So that's all I have.
Wow.
I just haven't, I've gotten a lot done this week that I normally wouldn't do just because I was sitting. So I'm sure I won't get as much done next week. I think we're going to go back to a every 2 week schedule. Sometimes we may record 2 weeks in a row. Like this week, we had a lot going on that we felt it was worth podcasting again.
Yeah, we wanted to share.
We may try to record again next week. We'll see. It just depends on how much we both get done. I know this week we have some running around, and of course it's our anniversary, so we're going to try and sneak out for a date.
A movie.
Maybe, we'll see. We're planning for our 4th of July barbecue. We're having the teenagers come over, and we're going to have a bonfire. So we're trying to figure out who is coming, and so we can plan for food this week. So that depends too. If we have a ton of people coming, I probably won't get to go to dinner and a movie, because I will be spending it on hot dogs and hamburgers. So.
One thing I know we mentioned last podcast, questions. And one person actually sent a question.
Hmm.
And
who sent the question?
It's Shirley, who's known as One Who Knits on Ravelry. She sent me a question. She said, have you or would you ever consider making darning eggs? I didn't know what a darning egg was. Not really.
Google.
Yeah, Google's a great thing. So I looked them up. They wouldn't really be that hard. It's a matter of getting the wood and putting it on a lathe and making them. But I'd never thought about it. I had done, like I said, I've made pens. I'd done shawl pins, buttons, all kinds of stuff. But I don't know. I could possibly see getting into darning eggs. It'd be something new for me, but you never know. It could happen.
Down the road.
Yeah, somewhere down the road. I have a room set up just to do woodworking in.
For now, until I kick you out.
Yeah, until she kicks me out to the shed and makes me go out there to do it. But yeah, if there was enough interest in it, I would do it. We'll see.
And we're also going to bring back our In the Apple Basket giveaway, which is a giveaway that you just post whatever projects you have finished in the month, and then we draw one random winner. It's usually for a $5 or less Ravelry giftable pattern, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue with that. I may gift a project bag. I have a surplus of little project bags that I've sewn, so I may do that. I may not. I haven't figured that out. I will start the thread today. It will be for July, so technically you're getting a little bit more than a month, so you can go ahead and you can add stuff that you have finished in for June as well.
Oh, we're going to have a ton of them then.
Well, it's starting now. I mean, obviously, if you finished it, the 1st of June, you could technically put it in, but I would like it to be, and I'm not going to be a stickler about it, but I would like it to be from today on. You can post objects that you finished. So which projects you wrapping up the end of June, heading into July can go into that thread.
Right. So you'll get 6 weeks to be able to
5.5.
Yeah, put projects in.
So we enjoyed doing that thread, so that's one thing we would like to continue doing.
And who knows, if it works out, we might surprise you with an extra one, depending on how many people we get.
And I have plans. I would like to do a knit along too. I'm thinking through some things. So we'll just do a few simple giveaways. We're not going to really do a whole lot of contests. We don't really have the budget for that, so but we do want to do them. So we will do them from time to time and want to be able to stick in with a conservative budget. Because one of the things is he lost his job earlier this year and had to switch. So we took a rather large pay cut.
And it wasn't that I lost my job.
No, it was the contract for the company he worked with. They lost their contract.
I'm a government contractor, and the contract ran out, and we were waiting to see who was going to pick it up, if it was going to be picked up, and whether I was going to be on the new contract when it did get picked up. So, yeah.
It was.
I was picked up.
We're thankful for that.
But
he's not doing the same job he was before, but it's a job, which we are very thankful for, but it was a rather large pay cut.
Yeah.
So we are living on a much smaller budget than we're used to.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all in God's hand.
Out.
He's got it under
He's
control.
worked it out so far.
Yes, he has.
So.
Well, that's all we have for this week. I hope that you enjoyed this week's show, and we will see you either next week on the 28th or the 5th of July. We're not quite sure which one that we will be recording on, but we will see you then.
Be sure you put in your questions. Come to our Ravelry group, Apple Blossom and You. It's EWE, not YOU. Come over there, leave questions, comments, post your finished objects. And if you're not a member of the group, join the group. Because we like seeing what everybody's doing and discussions and all of that. So come on over.
So have a wonderful week and happy crafting. Bye for now.
See you later.